Hey everyone, GarageKing here, and if you have this light on your dash and you have a Mercedes Benz 2015 or newer C300, also known as W205, then this video is for you.
Okay, 2015 C300 rear brakes, and holy cow, what is this? This is what we're looking at, folks. Let's get some light under there. So we're looking at this whole thing, and what that is that's like an electric emergency brake. That's what that is. So we're gonna do the brakes on it. We're gonna change that brake wire, and let's get to it. We got to reset these. I'll show you how to do it. After this video, you will be a pro at doing Mercedes-Benz brakes. Well, maybe not a pro, but enough. Hopefully you'll gain enough confidence to do it yourself. Sorry about shaking around. Just excited to work on this Mercedes. Okay, so first we're going to pull out just these plastic plugs in the back. They just look like this. Not too hard to pull out at all. Let's just pull those out. So first, we're going to take off the caliper. And we got our 7mm socket. So, there we go. We should be able to get in there. There we go. And you can see it's actually spinning there. We're turning it. I don't even need the ratchet anymore. I should just be able to spin it out by hand. Just like so. And that one's all the way out. That's good. Now let's go down below right here. You can see I slid it in. That's perfect. Let's get our ratchet on there. And we can undo our bottom bolt. Just like that. And we can actually, sometimes we can even just kind of pull the pins out. If we sort of twist, put a little bit of pressure on them, we can see if this pin wants to come out. If not, we're going to clean it later anyway. It doesn't matter. I can actually see it starting to come out right there. And there we go. Pulled it out just like that. A little screwdriver. There we go. And we can take this one out as well. And as we can see, they are the same size, so we don't have to worry about confusing them. Okay, so now that I've taken out the slider pins, if you want to call them that, you can see it'll be a little bit loose, but we have to take off this clip right in the front. So how do we take off that clip? Actually, I'll show you guys a really, really good trick. Some people fight with them so hard with the screwdrivers. They do tons of crazy things with them. I find it's easy to take just a big pair of pliers, just like so. I put them right in here just like this, and if you give it a bit of a squeeze, you can see there you go. We've actually freed it. Now all I can do is take my screwdriver. I'm just reaching around. I'm trying not to block the camera view. There we go. I can squeeze, so now I can just take my screwdriver and just pull it out just like this. Just easily, just like that. There we go. And this way we didn't bend anything, we didn't really pry anything. And we'll do the same thing with the pliers to get it back in. So that's an easy trick to getting these things out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the wire from the pads, because obviously if we go to pull this caliper away, the wire's still connected. So all there is there's a little silver tab, if you want to call it there. So we can just lift that up, just like so. You can see I'm lifting it up. And then once I lift it up, we should be able to just pull it out. So I'm just going to lift it up. And there we go. It's just coming out. There we go, just like so. And there we go. It is out. So now what we can do is we should be able to pull this caliper off. Now, before we do this, we can actually pull it off, and I can show you how it looks. There's a number of ways to do it, because if you look here, you're like, GarageKing, what is up? What is all this plastic crap on here? Well, that is the electronic park brake, and that thing there, that electronic park brake, not wiggles, sorry, it turns. There's a threaded rod, and it pushes a piston tight. So if you try to just push the piston back, like how I did on the front brakes, you're gonna damage this thing. So please don't do that. Don't do that. So what we have to do is wind this back in. Like I said, there's two ways we can actually take it apart and manually wind it in, but there is an easier way. We can actually go to the dashboard, and we can go right from the menu and actually just It's really, really easy. So rather than talking here, let's go see and let's go do it. Okay guys, so now we're gonna wind these calipers back. So what we gotta do is we're gonna press the OK button and we're gonna press the pick up the phone button at the same time once the vehicle's turned on. So we don't need the vehicle running. Don't run the vehicle, but just go to your push button, give her a push. There we go. Now we'll push it one more time. There we go, so that's on. So now we're gonna push our buttons, so our OK and our pick up the phone at the same time. And we have to push the pick up the phone and the OK relatively quick and hold it for like 5 seconds. So it's really hard to do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna push it really quick. Okay, so we got it to brake pad replace. So we scroll down there to brake pad replace, and then we're gonna push OK, just like this. Move to fitting position with OK. Cancel with back. So we're gonna go press OK. And you can actually hear them moving. Fitting position reached. Exit fitting position with OK. So we don't want to exit by any stretch. So now let's just go change them quick. I'm actually going to even just leave this on like this. I don't even want to touch the vehicle. Okay, so now we're just going to replace your brakes. So what we're going to do is we're just going to lift this up. I actually had to put it back on because I don't know if I was able to get the brakes to retract while this thing was unplugged. I don't know if it makes a difference. So I plugged it back in again and it worked on the dash. So I'm not exactly sure. If anybody knows, please comment below. So let's pull this out. There we go. So we have our connector out. That's great. We've already taken our pins out. If I can. There we go. That's coming loose. And we gotta watch, we got all this stuff is, what I can do is actually undo it maybe here, or maybe not. I can see if I can get my little clip under there just to give me a little bit more space. There we go, undo this. There we go, it's coming, there we go, got it. Now we just flip this up and that gives us at least a little bit more room. Not much, but it gives us a little bit more room. So now we can pull our caliper up and it looks like they've retracted to max. I don't know, I don't think they have, but anyway, this caliper is actually really light, so we can just leave it here. I'm gonna pull out the pads. Here's one, here's the other one. I get it out, and then let's take a look and we can actually see, here's the pad wear indicator right there. And you can see there it is there, and it actually hit. And yeah, definitely need new pads. This wear indicator shot. It said max reached, but this doesn't look to be all the way back in. I think it's just the emergency brake is in all the way, so now we should be able to twist or turn this back in, but we'll see how much pressure it takes to make sure that we're not going to damage anything. I just want to make sure. And there we go here. I'm just going to get you guys a better angle. You can see what I'm doing. I have my tool here and I'm just applying a little bit of pressure. And yes, it is. It's pushing the piston back in, no problem. I don't feel any binding or anything, so that is good news. We've retracted the rear brake pad. Park brake. So we can push this back in now. So that's awesome. These brakes aren't as scary as they look. And that's all the way in. I can take my tool back out, just like so. We'll get a rag, we'll give this a little wipe, make sure the piston is nice and clean. Okay, so I've given everything a little wipe down, cleaned it all. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the two pins that I've taken to the wire wheel, I'm gonna put them back into calipers right there. Okay, so I got just a little bit of brake grease. And there we go. And I'm just gonna put this in here just to make sure we have a little bit in there. That's fine. Don't need much, really. They come out fairly dry. These ones don't normally seize. In the bottom as well. What I'll do is I'll just put a little bit on the pin. Just like that. Really don't need much at all. And then what I can do is put the pin through. There we go. Just like that. That's perfect. And same thing, we'll put a little bit of grease on this other pin. Really don't need much. And we'll put it into the bottom. Okay, so now we're ready to put our new pads in. So I do have our new pads here. They are right here. So I have our new pads. The inner pad is this one with a spring. And that one is going to get a new sensor wire. So we take our pad just like this. There's our hole right there. And we're gonna put the new sensor wire in just like so. If you can see it there, yeah, there it goes. Make sure we're lined up. And there, we could just push it in just like so. So nice and easy. What I'm going to do on the sliders here is I'm just going to put a little bit of anti-seize just before I put them into the caliper bracket. So we're going to put a little bit of anti-seize. There's this one, can slide in. There we go. Yeah, just like so. And same with the other one. And just for a comparison for the camera, you can see there's the new and there's the old, and you can see the old, there you go, you can see worn right down, and there's the sensor part worn right just like that. There you go. And there we go. Just like so. And now we have our pins here, so we can line up our pins one at a time. And just make sure that our pins, we can start threading them in. And make sure we're okay down below. And this wire here too, once this pin goes in, this top wire, we just gotta make sure it goes back where it's supposed to go. This one, we'll just start it, so it's nice. And the other one, just like so. There we go. And we make sure our wire goes back in here. This clips clip down. There we go. So that's all where it should be. Clip the wire back together. There we go. There's the wire. So I'm just going to take the wire right in there and clip it back in. And there we go. Now we just got to put the clip back in the front. Okay, we have our clip back. So now a good trick again is to take our, well actually we don't even need it to take it out, I was going to say. We use this, I showed you how, but to put it in you can see how I just clipped it in like that. And it's perfect. So now I'm just going to get my extension and do a last torque up of those bolts. And lastly, all we have to do now to the back here is just put our little rubber stopper clips in. So one on the top, just like so, and one on the bottom. I can get it in there. There we go. And we are done. Rear brakes on a Mercedes C300. So, like I showed you back in the vehicle, I just waited for a second, everything turned off. So what I'm gonna do is hit this. So here we go, one time there. Okay, to exit, there we go, fitting position reached, exit fitting position with okay. So, gonna press okay. And there we go, has been confirmed with okay. So we are done now. We're fine. Now what we can actually do is just put our foot on the brake. We're slowly going to pump it up still, because what we have to do is make sure that our pads are fully seated, before we do any driving whatsoever. Now if I want, what I can do is activate the rear brake. And there we go, I activated it. You saw the red light come on, and now what I'll do is I'm just gonna undo it from there. Same thing, shut it off. So it all works perfectly. And what we can do is start it up really quickly just to make sure we have no weird lights or anything like that on. And everything should be good. And I can go back to my trip and I can go, okay, leave it on the trip. That's where the car was. And there we go, we're back on our trip. Brake pads are replaced, everything's okay. Let's see what I did use. I used a little bit of brake cleaner for some cleaning. I used my pad spreader. I used a big pair of pliers. Some little screwdrivers just for the clips for the electrical wire. A little flathead screwdriver, 7mm socket, and this just to put the lube in, so another screwdriver to put the lube in. Pretty much that's it. And then you obviously have to take off the wheels, but that's all you need. And then obviously I use my lubrication, that just Bosch lubrication for the pads there, for the sliders. So that was pretty much it. So hey, if you like what you see, if you have any comments, let me know. I'd appreciate if you would subscribe. Over and out, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you, everyone.